Hello, everyone. Welcome to this broadcast. My gosh, it feels like it's been ages. And it's only been a week, 2 weeks. I can't remember if I did a live last week. Do you know what? So much has happened. I don't remember things. I do one week finishes and I'm like, mind blank, let's start the new week fresh. I don't know how many of you guys do that. But anyway, welcome to this broadcast today. It's lovely to see you all here getting amongst the comments. Hi to Skip, who was first in with the comments. I feel like we should give the first comment always like the first mention and, you know, the pride of having the first comment. Deb says hi. Okay, so Peter Green's Blue Guitar was the last album you listened to. Very cool. Mike says Macca's Top 100. Goodness, Macca's is like a very Australian name, isn't it? And Mike's here. Hello, Mike. Got the box set. Nice. Alex is here. Hi, welcome. We've got Deb has listened to Taylor Swift's Folklore. You know what? If that's got piano ballads, then I should be checking it out, shouldn't I? I haven't actually listened to it yet. It's been out for a while, hasn't it? You know what? I'm incredibly fast to listen to the new releases by, artists that I normally listen to. But then in terms of like pop music and just general popular music, I'm really, really slow. I tend to wait till all the hype dies down. And then if people are still talking about it, then I'll jump in and listen. I don't know if you guys are like that at all. But welcome. Thank you so much for tuning up live today. I really appreciate it. And it's really nice to have you to know that I'm talking to someone on the other side of this camera, right? But goodness me, it's been a crazy week. We've launched the new Creative Pianist membership. It's so exciting. The membership itself and the new changes I've been working on for a couple of months, but since the last course was released in January. But it feels like a more major milestone than that, because the previous Creative Pianist membership was released in 2020, in the middle of the year in 2020, and that seems like a very long time ago, especially considering how time is passing these days with all the things that are going on, right? The last few years have felt like a decade. So this new membership, I feel, is something I've been thinking about for the last few years, and so it's really exciting for me to bring that to you. And what I'm talking about today is essentially one of the major reasons behind making those changes. And of course, the short answer to why I made a curriculum out of the courses that we have, as opposed to just having a whole lot of different courses and just letting you have at it, I decided to put it into a structure. And the short answer, of course, for that, if you wanted to just come here and get the short answer and then go and, get your tea or whatever, the short answer is that you guys requested it. So this is a requested alteration to what Piano Picnic offers. I make sure that I'm doing surveys regularly. Of course, I read and answer all the emails that you guys send me. And I was getting a common theme coming up, which was people asking for more structure. And I thought that was funny because I'm certainly someone who thinks that I don't need structure, especially when there's so many things that fascinate me, especially when it comes to music, that I tend to just get pulled in a direction and go that way. It's sort of like this shiny object syndrome, I suppose, but with music. And so I'm normally getting pulled in terms of, this is fascinating to me, this is fascinating to me. But as your piano coach, I sort of had to look at what I'd been doing, obviously appealing to that side of myself. You teach the way that you like to learn, and realizing from that feedback that even though following your curiosity is a really wonderful thing, sometimes you need to fill in those gaps. You need to have a structure because we're not always necessarily completely fascinated by some aspect in order to drive us towards it, okay? Or we're fascinated by an object. Why am I talking about objects? We're fascinated by a skill or a concept within music. Specifically, I'm talking about niche within our piano learning. We might be fascinated with jazz, or we might be fascinated with improvisation, or fascinated with songwriting or riffing or whatever it is. We could be fascinated with that skill, but we don't necessarily know how to get there. And that's the part where I can help, okay? So this is the part that I was taking for granted, admittedly, because when I decide that I'm fascinated with something, I have enough of a ground knowledge and enough experience to know where to go to guide my own learning, right? But when you are starting out, of course, you don't know what to do. You don't know what you don't know. So essentially, that's the long, short answer. I'm incapable of a short answer, we know at this point. But that's essentially, in a nutshell, why I have structured the whole curriculum inside of Piano Picnic and created a curriculum essentially from the courses that I already had. So in practical terms, I basically just put all the courses into a specific order of how I think that they should go, looking at what you learn along the way and what information you'll need before you come to this point, and so on and so forth. And there's I'm going to talk about that later. See, I'm definitely following my brain here, not the notes. So there's 4 different, now we're going into the long answer. That was a short one. There's 4 different sort of points. I like to have bullet points when I'm talking here. So 4 different things that I feel are important about why we have a syllabus. So firstly, it's to simplify the journey. As I said, I'm getting beginners coming to me, or people of lots of different stages who might actually, they have a goal, or they have a fascination, they have a reason. Usually people have a reason why they want to learn piano. It's not just, I want to learn piano. If that's the goal, just I want to learn piano, normally they don't come to me, okay? This is and I'm fine with that. When they have a specific, like, I am fascinated by this, or I just really want to do this, I want to be creative, I want to do this sort of thing within being a pianist, then they come to me, right? That's what you guys are all here for. So simplifying the journey is saying that, yes, you have this interest, you have this curiosity, this path that you want to discover, but you don't necessarily know what the journey is, or it might seem really complicated to get there, or it might even seem impossible to get there. So by creating this curriculum, I've simplified the journey for you so that you don't have to think about it. When you're learning something new, it's hard enough just to get to the piano and do the lessons and do the practice. I don't want you to also have to be thinking about what you need to do in order to get there. And that side of things is definitely something that I can be taking care of for you, because I know. So I may as well. Like, this is all part of being the coach. I'm sharing with you what I know. And it's not just about the specific knowledge and the specific skills. It's also the order and how each thing leads into the next. So I can easily just, why wouldn't I just point you in the right direction, right? Not to say that being self-guided isn't also a really great thing. As I said, I'm someone who is led by my curiosity. So within the curriculum that I've set out, you can also decide to jump around if you get in straight into the membership and you're like, I really want to write songs. You can, even though in the curriculum I've put the songwriting course right at the end, because I think, just as an example, I think that you're going to write better songs if you have learnt all the other things that are available within the membership, within the curriculum, because you know more, therefore you can apply more into the songs that you write. However, all of my courses do start from a beginner level, so you can just jump into whatever course and it won't be too onerous for you to work through it. For instance, Mike, who is here today, he signed up end of last year, and then in January, as a complete beginner to the piano with guitar experience, and then in January, we had the songwriting course came out, didn't we, Mike? Mike jumped straight into that and found it to be really great. He's given me loads of awesome feedback about that course. So as you can see, you can be a beginner, jump straight into what I have as the last course in the curriculum. So this is to say you can jump in anywhere. You can self-guide your learning if that's what you're wanting to do. But also if you're ever at a point where if you're more predisposed to being self-guided, which a lot of adults are, and you don't want to sort of necessarily do the structured thing, then that's totally fine. But if you find yourself at a point where you are lost or you're not sure what to do next, go back to the start of the curriculum and start working your way through. So that's the first thing, is it's simplifying the journey. I'm taking out the need for you to have to make decisions if you don't want to or you don't have the energy. If you're quite happy making your own decisions about what you learn and what you do next, then don't even worry about it. It's not everything isn't like locked until you do the next thing. That's where I am different to other methods where they sort of like, you have to do the first level and to unlock the second level, to unlock the third level. I'm not that strict. It's very much your choice whether or not you go through the levels in order or not. We've got some people here. Les, he says he wants to do improvisation. So very, very cool. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. So thanks for bringing that up. And we've got Stephen is interested in arranging and composition. Very cool. I love both those things. I have a course on songwriting in the membership, as I just talked about that. But also I have a coaching that specializes in arranging, and I'm going to be expanding on that in the future. Okay, come on, that's like next year, but we're going to get into arranging more as well. So what's the second thing? The second reason why I have a syllabus, why structure is important, is to fill in the gaps. So as I said, I teach the way I love to learn, which is led by curiosity, sort of fascination, shiny object syndrome. The reason I love being led by curiosity is it pulls you rather than having to push yourself. So I do recommend that if you are curious about a particular topic, that allow yourself to be pulled. Being pulled through education and improvement is such an exciting thing. I'm so passionate about it. But I'm also happily admit that you don't always have that pulling feeling. Sometimes you don't feel inspired. Sometimes you're not pulled towards one thing or another. Or sometimes, some days you just don't feel like doing the high energy, excited thing. Or you're disappointed with it today for some reason, or whatever mood you're in. Sometimes we just need to make sure that we are filling in all the gaps in the puzzle, right? And the thing is that when you are pursuing something that you're excited about but don't necessarily know a lot about, you don't know what the gaps are. You're not going to know which puzzle pieces you are not putting in, because of course you don't know what you don't know until you come to do the thing that you're learning to do. Like for instance, improvisation. You come to improvise and you feel like, I'm missing something. Like, why can't I do it in the way that I see other people doing it, right? That is because you don't necessarily know the little bits that you've not been able to, gather along the way, the little nuggets of information, maybe some theory that you're missing or some technical finger skills that you haven't been working on. So as the professional, I know what the puzzle should look like. Okay, so if I couldn't in conscious allow my students to jump from puzzle to puzzle with all these missing pieces, never really completing the puzzle, okay? And what that results in real terms is someone saying, I've been learning piano for a year, 2 year, 3 years, but I still don't feel like I can play anything. I get students coming to me, from other places saying that sort of thing. So then what we need to do is make sure that we are filling in those gaps, and what that looks like for most people. And this is why I try to tell people to have an open mind about learning, about going through these courses, even if you're like, I don't need to do super basics. I've already done 2 years of piano. I try to encourage people, okay, you're probably going to go through it. Let's just say that 90% of it is going to be what you're familiar with, in which case it's just reminding you of stuff you already know. So what's wrong with that? Like a little bit of revision, sometimes I know what secondary dominants are, right? But the other day I saw it in a book that I was looking at and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about secondary dominance as a thing. I'm just saying that as a theory concept, you don't have to know, but I'm just saying that sometimes you know about things, but being reminded of them sort of brings it back into the foreground. So that's really handy. So maybe that's the 90% for you. Maybe there's 10% that just is maybe put in a different way that you never heard before, or you're doing an exercise that makes you practice it in a way that you've never had to. And that 10% is exactly what we want. So having a learner's mindset means that you can go back that 10% in the simple course that you didn't think you needed to do is the type of thing that is so valuable for filling in those gaps so that you can understand music and really have complete puzzles, right? Be completely puzzled. Filling in the gaps is super important. Okay, so here we go. Val is here. Hi, Val. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, Celtic Women. That sounds exciting. Do you know what? I've been booking lots of concerts as well because New Zealand has opened up and we're getting some cool artists coming through, and it's been years since I've been to a proper concert, and so I'm really excited. I've booked a few different concerts for the year as well, and I'm looking to book more. I'm going a bit crazy, but like, why shouldn't I? I feel like I have to justify this in my head, spending money on concert tickets, but I'm like, this is literally my job is teaching, so I need to feed my inspiration as well. So it's very important. I wonder if I could claim tax on it. Anyway, okay, the third thing is nothing is isolated. So you may have noticed, and I know some of you who have been through a lot of the courses, Val, Alex, some of you guys who've been around a bit longer, you will have noticed repetition in a lot of the theory that comes up in some of the steps that we use for different types of skills. So some of the things we learned in the Peaceful Improvising course also, again, were repeated in the Riffing Pro course, repeated again in some things, ideas again in the songwriting course. So a lot of these concepts, we have so much crossover, okay? So there's repetition of some of those concepts, some of these skills in all of the creative skills. This is why when I teach a new theory concept and I say, hey, this is how the circle of fifths work, right? We apply this to riffing, improvising, songwriting, playing lead sheets, jamming, all of those things, because all of our theory, music theory, is, of course, we can apply it. As soon as we learn a new theory idea that we didn't know before, we can apply it to all of our creative skills. So this is why we need the structure, because it means that you're not going to miss anything. That's, one nugget can be applied in 5 different ways on the piano, right? So we don't want to be missing those nuggets. That's why we need a structure to make sure that we are also making those connections. When we repeat that certain skill or idea in a different course, that we're doing, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I learned that before. Cool, that must be really important. So that structure is really, really good, and also making sure that nothing has been missed out again. So we've got simplifying the journey, we've got filling all the gaps. Nothing is isolated. Structure means that you will not miss out on any essential info, and you learn to apply that info in multiple ways. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. The last one is that we can guarantee success. So I am always happy, and I always encourage anyone new joining the piano picnic world, please send me an email, tell me about your experience, or message me on Facebook or whatever, so that we can talk about your specific experience, and I try to personalize my advice. But the thing is that recently, especially since I've put this curriculum together, even though I still encourage that, and I still want to hear your story, and I still want to understand where you're coming from and what your goals are, I wholeheartedly believe now, and my action from last week onwards, is to just recommend the curriculum to everyone. Start from the start, go through. Because no matter what your goals are, you still, as I said, you've got to fill in those gaps. You've got to make sure you've got that fundamental knowledge so that you can apply it in all those different awesome ways, or maybe even just in the way that you want to, in the skill area that you're wanting to do. Maybe if you're just wanting to do improv and you don't care about anything else, you still need to learn about all that theory. So, and all those keyboard skills, right? So even though in the past I've recommended to people different places to jump in, say if you're interested in improvisation, I would recommend that you did my Peaceful Piano Improvising at Home course that I released in 2020. I don't know, a year or two ago. I would recommend that course, okay, because it's the same topic, and so that seems like the right thing to do. But I've actually changed my tack now. Anyone that asks me if they can improvise, I'm going to say, who was it here who said they love Les? I'm going to recommend that you start from super basics and work your way through. The reason for that is because you can jump straight into improvisation, but you are going to get so much more out of your improvising if you've already learned about your core keyboard skills, have filled in all the gaps, and learned about as much theory as you can, and gone through step by step and level by level. When you do get to improvisation, you're going to be so much more impressed with yourself and what you're able to do. And that's ultimately what I want to be giving you as your coach. It's a funny thing for teachers, is sort of this idea. I don't know exactly where it comes from, but my mum is also a teacher, and my dad also used to teach in high school as well for a spell. So there's quite a bit of education in my blood. But there's this idea that with students, you give them what they need, sort of disguised as what they want, right? Because as a teacher, when you know the path, as I said before, when you know how the puzzle is supposed to look, I can know what you need, even though you want something particular. So you want to improvise, but I know that to improvise, you need to learn a bit of theory and some keyboarding skills, and you know what I mean. So I'm giving you what you need, disguised as what you want. Also, Leslie's also done that, Ruth. Wicked. Oh, Val said she didn't remember the technique. Yeah, this playing through the tissue. That's right. That was one of the way we talked about how to play a chord and pretending to pick up a tissue as you do it, practicing our technique. That was a super fun coaching. It's in the Vault coaching area in the new membership now, so you can grab that. Awesome. Well, okay, so those of you who are here and not in the membership already, obviously today I was talking about the reasons why I've made the structured curriculum. And if you want to get your hands on that curriculum, if it's interesting to you to learn in a way that is both self-guided in terms of that you can choose when you go in, you can ultimately choose which courses you do and when, but there's also a structure laid out for you in case you do want to fill those gaps and do want to start from the beginning. If that all sounds like something that appeals to you in your piano learning journey, hey, let me tell you that it's a wild ride. If you come into the Creative Pianist membership, it's a wild ride. We're very, very intense about learning the piano, and we're passionate about it. So there's lots there. Thanks so much, you guys, for coming in the comments. Anyone, obviously there's the URL here. If you're interested, go take a look at what I offer. All the info is there. It's a fabulous website, so I encourage you to check out my website, even if only do it if you're interested, of course. I don't want to waste your time, but man, it's a good website. I'm really proud of it. Oh, Val, yeah, great recommendation there. I think paying for a year up front is the best way, because even psychologically, I've talked about this before, but psychologically, when you invest, especially in like a period like a year, you will do the lessons. I will tell you that. Everyone who signs up for a year is logging in, they're doing the lessons. And if you're someone that, has purchased online courses in the past, I've certainly got, when I've had, something I've wanted to check out, I've purchased, maybe, oh, that was my tummy grumbling. I need breakfast. I purchased maybe, like a one-off course, and I've whatever, paid $20 for it on Udemy or something for something simple. Never done it. I never log in. I never do them because I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll get to that. When you pay for a year up front, as Val says, you really you are committing. And that's what we want. Those are the kind of students that I want. I want students that want results. If you want results, get in there. Alrighty. I'm going to go because my tummy's rumbling. I need to have some breakfast. I love seeing you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. I always just adore this hangout that we get to have. Oh, no, there was one other thing that I was going to announce for those of you guys that are here and are in the membership already. What was I going to say? Yes. Speaking of arranging, the coaching for this month, we have a new training every single month for the members. The first training of the new membership is... Oh, no, wait. I have a sound effect thing somewhere. Where is it? No. Where is it? Okay. No. It is making a cover song, right? Okay, we're going to go over some techniques, a bit of a process for making a cover song. What is a cover song? It's when we take a song that maybe might not be on piano and make our own version of it suitable for the piano. This is going to be a really cool training. It's something I'm super passionate about. I'm passionate about everything. But I love doing this. If you've ever looked at my Hack That Riff videos on YouTube, I work out songs using this process. I'm not going to so much talk about learning them by ear because it's in a course already, and that's a whole that would take us 5 hours. But I'm going to talk about how to take a song that isn't piano and how we can make that piano. I've done this topic before, but I'm going to do it again with a little bit of a spin. So I think we're going to do this on Zoom this month. It's going to be a Zoom meeting. We're going to go through this process with your beautiful faces on camera as well, if you can. I'm really excited about this. I just thought I've got a lot of serious topics coming up, particularly on after this month. We've got a few that are going to be going back to this idea of learning by ear. We're following on from the Songs by Ear course. There's a bit of clue as to what the next course is. It's kind of like level 2. Yeah, we're going back to learning by ear and we're going to get even better. This is also a requested topic. Before we get into that, I just wanted to start the membership with something really fun and actionable. So that's what we're going to do at the end of April. It's going to be great. Obviously, the time, it's always the last, I think it's the 29th. It's always the last Friday for me, Thursday night for you guys who are over in the US and UK and whatnot. So cool. Joseph is here. Awesome. Hi, Joseph. Thanks for joining. Okay, you guys. That brings me to breakfast time. So I'm going to leave you. Love you. Have an awesome week. Remember to play it like you mean it. And I'll see you later. Hey. Play it like you mean it. 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 And I'll see you next time.